The mic's gonna go like down here, so yeah. Okay, so yeah. So my name is AJ Styles, and I'm a time traveler. Now what? No, I said it, so now it's out there. So, okay, I think we should start from the very, very beginning. But when I say beginning, I mean like not right now, in the future. I was born on December 16, 2055. My mother, she was, well, she is, or she will be a writer, and my father will be a physicist. I had one sister, she's 2 years older than me, and well, I don't really know how to say where we live because, in the future will be kind of like different, the organization of nations, countries, and all that stuff. But well, we were a happy family, and my dad used to go to work every morning. My mom used to work from home. My sister and I, we went to school, and my dad worked 5 days a week, all day. So on weekends we used to go to an amusement park or to the movies. Yeah, those things still exist in the future. They're a little bit different from what they are today, but they will still be existing.
So what was your dad's work?
So as a physicist, my dad used to work as the head of a project on a private research facility. He never really talked about the work with the whole family, but he did talk about work with me. And he and my mom used to have this discussion sometimes, and then during the night he would go to my room to tell me, hey, do you want to go watch a movie? And I think he always knew that I will never say no to that. So we will go then just watch a movie that maybe none of us will understand, and then he will drive us to different places, like places that I had never seen in the city, or sometimes we would just park on the top of a hill and just listen to music while we would watch the city lights, and then is when he will talk to me about his work. And he always got me very intrigued with everything he did. I don't really remember, but he did used to have other projects before. But from a certain time on, he would talk to me about this time travel project he was working on, this time machine he was trying to build on his work. And I remember when he realized I was very interested in these things, I remember he would bring home some books from his work. Some of them were like about the project itself, but I didn't really understand those. So he would bring all the books about all the science that I had to know to understand all these things. And so yeah, we could say I have like a pretty early exposition to physics and all that. I didn't really thought about it back then, but now that I look back, I think he liked that I was interested about his work. I don't really remember what his discussions with my mom were about, but I think he appreciated that someone took care about what he did. And I felt kind of special to be able to know all these secret projects. I always look at my dad and I like partners in crime. So yeah, we were pretty close. There was a time that he started to come home pretty late. Sometimes I was already in bed, I was already sleeping, and the discussions with my mom were more often and more intense. Sometimes the discussions got pretty heated. Sometimes I remember my mom used to go with us and tell us, "Hey, your dad doesn't care about us. He doesn't care about us. He only cares about his work and his job." And I remember sometimes she was complaining about how my dad cared too much about his job and stuff. One night, and I remember very clearly, I don't think I will ever forget it. One night I was already sleeping and my dad approached me on my bed. And he told me, "Hey, wake up, we did it." And I didn't know what he was talking about, so I told him, "What?" He said, "We did it, we did a time machine." And he told me that I could use it, that I could see it, but that we had to go during the night because he didn't want anyone to see me. So I remember it was raining, and my sister and my mom, they were sleeping. So I remember I had to hide like in the back of the car so nobody saw me. And it was the first time that I went to my dad's work, and everything seemed so cool to me. Like even his office was so interesting and so cool to me. Like I was super excited, and So then he took me to a room and he was like, "So here it is. This is a time machine." And all I saw was a big room filled with machines and cables, and he tried to explain me how everything worked, but at the end I was just I was still just a 5-year-old kid that didn't understand everything. So then he told me, "So you want to try it?" And I was like, "Of course I want to try it. I want to go to the original Star Wars premiere." And he was like, "Well, I can take you 5 minutes into the past, because right now we want to test it to see how far we can go, but maybe in the future I will take you to the original Star Wars premiere." So then he took me to his office to kind of like prepare me. He asked me to remove any metal object that I have on me, and I remember telling him, "So have you tested before?" He was like, "No, that's the point. You are going to be the first time traveler in the history." And while that sounded very excited, I told him, "Well, but if you haven't tested, how do you know it works?" And then he told me, "We receive a clock that is 24 hours ahead into the future." But I was like, "So? Like who sent that clock?" And he told me, "Well, this clock is an exact copy, an exact clone of a clock we were going to use tomorrow for a test." And he told me, "Do you know what that means?" And he said like it was like a test that I had to get right. And I told him, "So that means that there's an alternate timeline?" And he said, "No, we are the alternate timeline." And I was kind of confused, but he explained me, in the original timeline, some people sent a clock back into the past, and the moment it arrived to us, a new timeline was created where the clock was received before it was sent back in time. And we are on that timeline," he said. "And that's how we know it works." And of course I believed him and I trust him. He actually showed me the clock. And I know what you're thinking, how irresponsible a father can be to just put his son at risk at that time. But the way I see it is that he was thinking, well, he told me he was planning to do something like the first X-ray picture that Rothman took of his wife's hand. You know, that it became super famous and all that stuff. And he was thinking something like that. He just wanted me to like make history with him, and I really appreciated that. So after that, he gave me some glasses and he told me, close your eyes all the time because this is very unpredictable. We don't want anything to happen to your eyes. We don't want you to become blind. And he also put a device on my wrist. He told me, no matter what, never take this device off. This is what will allow me to know where you are, and this is what will allow me to take you back. So then he took me to like a chamber. It was 4 walls of all steel, I think, and there was like a small window, but I was too short to look through it anyway. And then before he left me there and he closed the door, he told me, you know, everything, I want you to know that everything I do, my work, everything, I do it for you, for your sister, and for your mom. And then he told me he loved me, and he told me, get ready to make history. And then he closed the chamber. And then I was just there with my eyes closed, like super excited to be the first time traveler in history. And I just started to hear all these noises, you know, these weird noises of machines functioning and all that stuff, and electricity. And then I had my eyes closed, but I could see like this very intense flashlights that go through my eyes, you know, and then the sound started to intensify, the flashlights started to be more frequent, and then all of a sudden, everything was quiet. And I remember I waited a couple of seconds to open my eyes because, I didn't want to become blind. I didn't want to hurt my eyes, but when I opened my eyes, I was in a completely different place. And not only that, but there was daylight. And that's when I remember my dad told me he was going to send me 5 minutes into the past. So it was supposed to be dark. And not only that, I was supposed to be in the same place. But I was in a completely different place. And I think that's when I started to get a little bit scared. I started to look around. I started to look at the clock. 5 minutes have passed and I was not back. I stood there steady with my eyes closed. Nothing happened. I didn't want to leave the place. I was like, I have to stay here. I'm not taking my bracelet off. I'm not opening my eyes. I'm gonna wait for my dad to take me back. Because, maybe something happened, maybe it didn't work out. But time started to pass. I started to get worried. And that's when she appeared. The woman that now I call my mom.